Greetings, Mythics. How are we all? Yes, it is another Saturday morning. It's 10 a.m. and this time it really is 10 a.m. UK time. I'm on time for the first time. Well, not quite the first time, but normally I'm late. So this is a refreshing change. My name is Ken Boyter. You probably already know that because you have been watching the Edra Tales Twitch channel. And also, all the videos, all these live streams, they get exported over to YouTube. So check out the Edra Tales YouTube channel if you miss any of the live streams. Or if you're new, you can go back and look at some of the old live streams. They're still exciting. But also, this is Grocklesnook. He is a bottled imp. Well, he's escaped the bottle. And he is from the Bottled Imp YouTube channel, which I co-created with my friend Julian. He's a very fine filmmaker. And we have over 450 episodes of fantasy goodness, fantasy board game reviews, fantasy film reviews, and also fantasy book reviews. So go check out the Bottled Imp YouTube channel if you so desire. Good morning, Spellsing. How are you? Hopefully you've had a lovely week or a lovely last couple of days since we did our other live stream. Just to let people know, we do a live stream, we do a game book live stream where you decide how the story unfolds. And we've just completed Portal of Chaos by Simon Tudhope, illustrated by Tom Knight. We've just completed that one. So the next live stream is Wednesday, 7 PM UK time, where we will be doing Masks of Mayhem. Book number 23 of the Fighting Fantasy, the classic series, the OG of game books. Game books, yeah, you could say that they were the first to introduce a combat system. I'm going out there on a ledge there, but I'm pretty sure they were the first to add dice to the branching narrative story. If Jonathan Green was watching, he would know. He would put us right. Spellsingers, but good thanks. Watched some of your older Bottled Imp videos recently. They were tip-top. Oh, well, that's very kind of you. Thank you, Spellsing. Yeah, it's a shame that we don't do them anymore. But our lives changed. So Julian became a father. And obviously, you know, when you've got a little baba, some spare time that you did have is no longer yours. So there was that. Plus, my work increased, so I couldn't dedicate the time that we were doing for the Bottled Imp because of my workload. And we weren't getting paid for doing the Bottled Imp. So obviously, you know, it's fun to do, and I really enjoyed doing them. It became difficult because if you've got too many projects, as we all know, you kind of have to start homing them down if you're running out of time and go, right, what's the priority? And unfortunately, it's the ones that aren't earning you money has to go first. Because if you've got an opportunity to do a job that pays you money against one that doesn't pay you money, if you can afford not to take the money one, you know, if you have loads of money just sitting in your bank account, then yeah, go for the one you want to do. Go for the one that is enjoyable. However, not all of us have that luxury, so you would then go, well, I've got to prioritise the money one. But I'm really glad that you've delved into them. Yeah, we put a lot of time and effort into them, and we got a lot of good comments. You know, it was a golden era of YouTube. YouTube went downhill when we stopped doing them. Morning, Jam. Morning, my swashbuckling, sizzling Edralites. Edralites. That's what that reminds me of. How are you, Jam? Are you tip-top? Got a bit of a cough here, bit of a cough. And good evening, Lee Rin. How are you, sir? Thank you for joining us. Found a relaxing mid-air bridge connecting the fifth story between two computer markets, so I can frequently have a conversation in the golden sunset sky. That is such a poetic way of saying that. Yeah, you really make me laugh, Liren, because you're always somewhere. You're always somewhere doing something interesting, which is fantastic. Spellsingers put, yeah, they were good, especially the vids on how to write a game book. Yes. I don't know was it a game book? I'm not sure if it was a game book, but it was how to write. Basically, weirdly enough, you should say that, because I did. So it was an Imp's Journey, I think is the one you're referring to, and it was just my experiences of writing a book, basically. I didn't set myself up to be an expert or that you should definitely do it, but it was just like, I've read enough how to write books. I've been on courses, you know, the odd weekend courses about writing, and I had, you know, written a book. So you kind of go, right, I feel like I've got a little bit of knowledge that I could pass on. And again, yeah, people like those Martha, that's how Martha Silver, that's how she found me, the Bottled Imp. Yeah, so again, we wanted to do various different things. We didn't want to just do reviews, which is great. You can have a channel that's reviews. And maybe we would have grown quicker if we had just focused on, say, board game reviews, or just focused on book reviews, or just focused on film reviews. But it was kind of a reflection of what I'm into. But it doesn't mean that everyone's into that sort of stuff. So we kind of had a split audience, I think. But yeah, weirdly enough, it's about how to write a game book, because there have been books about how to write board games, but are there any books, I mean, Jam, you might know, or anyone might know, are there any books out there of how to write a game book? Surely someone's written one of those. Jam's put it, all good, about to publish the Witch of Kana manuscript. You're about to publish it? What? What do you mean by that then? As in you're about to send it to the printer? Is that what you mean? Or do you mean the digital version? So that one, the Witches of Kara, hang on, I'm getting confused now. So that's not your Kickstarter recently, is it? Or is it? I'm getting confused. Is that the one you've just written? As in the one that we Kickstarted at the same time? That, you know, yeah? Is it that one? So I thought that was Paranormal 3. Paranormal Hero 3. Get it printed, yes. Good stuff. Well, that's a big monumentous occasion there. It's always nervous though, isn't it? I'm assuming you've got a print copy back. You've got a proof copy back. I'm assuming you've got one of those. Because I would definitely, well, you know, you've done this for ages. But Paranormal Hero 3. Oh, right. Okay, yes, that's the tagline. The Witches of Kara. Yes. Fantastic. Yeah, I would always recommend getting yourself a proof copy back. Coffee? Proof copy. Maybe I need a coffee. A proof copy back. But you already know that, Jam. You've been doing this for years. Jonathan, hello, sir. How are you? I want to write a how to write game books. But there is one already out there, although I haven't presumably read it. Weirdly enough, yeah. So when just before, literally 5 minutes, when I was just gathering, right, what am I going to talk about today? And I've got a book here by a guy who's got a YouTube channel, Adam in Wales. His name's Adam Porter, and he's got a YouTube channel that does design, you know, how to design game books, not game books, how to design board games. And he's written a few how to design board game books as well. And that got me thinking, because I was looking down at this book going, oh, has anyone actually written a how to write a game book? And then instantly I thought, oh, Jonathan, if anyone's qualified, it's Jonathan. Haven't read it, How to Write an Adventure Game Book. I think I saw that. On Amazon, actually. Yeah, maybe that's why it's in the back of my mind. But yeah, I definitely thought of you, Jonathan, because I thought, God, if anyone is qualified, it's you. Because you've written for Fighting Fantasy, Doctor Who, Warhammer, I don't know, Peppa Pig. Oh, imagine doing a how to write a Peppa Pig game book. That'd be great. The author has self-published 4 books, 2 game books and 1 how to write game book, and a book of short stories. Well, that's fair enough. I think the thing is, it's like, yeah, what makes you an expert? What makes your book valid if you do a how to write, or, you know, how to do something? But if he's written 2 game books, then he's got a bit of experience. I'm assuming it's a bloke. It might be a woman. So fair enough. It's just that obviously, again, when somebody objectively looks at it, I guess because I know you, Jonathan, but you've written loads, so you're more likely to go, well, or you'd probably get both. You'd probably get both game books, wouldn't you, just to see the different things. Because I was thinking, oh, I could write that, and I thought, yeah, I'm not. I've not even got mine published yet. I'm not in a position to write a how to write game book. Martin Cruz. Jam's a bloke. That's good to hear, Jam. How's my favourite Alazania Tiger Warrior? There's some fancy names I can't pronounce. You might have noticed. I'm tempted to make it a bit of an autobiography like Stephen King on writing. Oh, okay. Yeah, that could be interesting. But that sounds very vain. Yeah, it's... Yes. I'm just trying to think how you could weave the two. Maybe the left hand is about you and your game book experiences, and the right hand is actually... so it's like 2 books in one. The right hand is about how to write a game book. I don't know. I know what you mean, though, because some people might go, well, I don't really care about your experiences in terms of, you know, the nitty-gritty of your experience. However, what I do care about is you passing on your knowledge, because you're very knowledgeable about writing game books, so I just want that. But then you're going to get people going, oh, okay, yeah, this is quite interesting. So maybe write your autobiography, well, do what you want, obviously. Maybe write your autobiography separately. I would relate the different aspects of my game book writing to my own experience. Oh, well, that's slightly different. Yeah, Ego Trip by Jonathan Green. I'd buy that for $1. Well, that's slightly different because, yeah. No, actually, I've seen people do that in writing books, in how to write books, where they use one of their books as an example. So if that's what you mean, then I think that's perfectly valid because from a copyright point of view, you know you've got no problems with copyright. So if you wanted to say, I don't know, talk about puzzles or, you know, put some puzzles in, you could give examples of the ones you've done, if that makes sense. That wasn't a very good example. Weirdly enough, though, I did do a workshop about how to write a game book. But again, it was because I've only, I finished it. I had finished it by the time I'd done that. But it was based on some advice that you'd given me, obviously, Jonathan. But it was just going through the steps that I wrote it. So it wasn't like I had loads of different ideas or different ways you could do it. I just went, right, this is what I did. I came up with my setting. I came up with my story. I came up with what are you? What's the adventurer? You know, who is the player? Who's the reader actually going to be? Then it was like, okay, now I've got an outline of my story. Then it was, okay, now I'm going to do that flow chart with all the branching narratives. Oh no, before I do that, you need to work out your stat system, don't you? You need to work out the actual game mechanics. Then you do the flow chart. Then you write each entry. Then you... Then you get it proofread, then you make all the corrections, then you get it play tested, then you get it, you know, so I just basically did it like that. And I only had an hour, so it wasn't massively in depth, but thanks for the link, Mr. Green, appreciated. Yeah, there you go, absolutely. Levin's put it, looking for a slightly less hot corner. Sunset, though it may be crispy cool, the afternoon winds rushing through the fifth stored air of Skybridge, maybe. 35 degrees? That is hot. And it's still 35 degrees Celsius. Though nothing a cool lemon tea can't solve. Lovely. Fifth story. That's big. That's big. Oh, I see. Yeah, fifth story. Good. Yeah, so it did. That's weird how you guys picked up on that, because I was going to bring that up as a subject. Has anyone written a how to write a game book? Because I'm sure that's a sort of market that's not been done to death yet. And you know, Ian Livingstone and Steve Jackson, obviously they're the ones that if they wrote one of those, that would sell big time, wouldn't it? Not saying yours wouldn't, Jonathan. No, I think it would. Anyway, I'll keep shoveling. Put my foot in it. So yeah, actually talking of game books, we are going to talk about game books. Portal of Chaos. We finished Portal of Chaos. Part 7. We finished it. We did a 2-hour session. And we sort of roughly chatted about it afterwards. I do like to sort of have a little chat about them afterwards. What did you think of Portal of Chaos? My feelings were this was the least enjoyable out of the ones we've played so far. So we've played 3 previously. We'd played Shadow Chaser. We've played Curse Breaker. We played League of Thieves. And I don't know. Now, I don't know if it's because it's sci-fi and I'm less interested in the sci-fi setting. That might have contributed to it. But I wasn't as emotionally engaged as I was to these ones. And I'm not sure why. I think it's because there was the link with the brother. What's happened to your brother? But I don't think they played... Simon Tudhope, who wrote it, weaved that in enough for us to really care. Maybe if we'd started, you know, that was a chapter at the beginning or prologue, and then you got to sort of, you know, and you knew that was, maybe this is it. The actual quest was you trying to find, first of all, Veronica Dyer, I think it was, and then Omen Rose. But maybe it should have been you're trying to find your brother. Something happened to your brother, and you've been on this quest trying to find it, and that you've got a hot tip that Veronica Dyer knows something about your brother. So maybe that's what it is. I don't know, but it didn't grab me as much. Don't get me wrong, it's still these books are very well written. It's still very well written. It's a good game book, but I just wasn't emotionally connected. And also, for 2 sessions, so for ages, it didn't feel like a game book up to a point, because there wasn't any choices. Look, I'm just gonna pick some pages. So here it says, if you win, turn to 320. If you lose, so that's a choice. But it's not really a choice, that's just what happened. Then the next entry, I know these are out of sequence, it just says turn to 183. Okay. Then the next sequence, the next one is you're dead. The next one says add an upgrade point, turn to 306. So there's no choice there. The next entry says add an upgrade point, then turn to 338. So there's no choice there. The next one says add an upgrade point and deduct 1 life point, then turn to 195. There's no choice there. The next one, if you win, so again it's combat, so again it's not really a choice. Then the next one is deduct 1 upgrade point, then turn to 81. Then we've got the next one. Now that's a choice. If you'd like to get the boat, or if you prefer to press on through the trees. So that is, and that was just randomly opening it. 1, 2, 3... 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 entries that I just picked at random through the book where there was no choice given. And I think that's too many. It's too many. Because otherwise it's not a game book. It's just I've written a novel and you're going to read it out of order. You know, I'm just going to shuffle it up. You'll read it in order, but you're not going to just start on the left-hand page and carry on through. So that to me was a big no-no. And this is why I like playing them, because it's like, oh right, I've got to remember when I write my game books, people want to make those decisions. Let's see what else. But I suspect choosing a centre path finale would have given us closure with the brother. Yes, it could well have done. Yeah, that's true. That was the part not taken. Yeah, we didn't take that part. Jam's put planning to Kickstarter a third Numa. It is Numa, isn't it? Numa book in October. Fantastic, Jam. As soon as I finished one project, I had an idea for another, and follow the advice of Jonathan Green gave me all those years ago. Well done. As in what? Just do it. Just basically do it. Yes. So, well, when you get everything linked up and you got the campaign, all set up, obviously put a little post up in the Edra Tales group, Jam. You're more than welcome to do that. And Lee has put a sci-fi, though it may be, it was a neat touch for them to sneak to the medieval fantasy genre through the summon mythical monster portal plot device. Yes, it was a bit of a mixture. And I don't know if I have a problem with that as well. Because it's almost like, if I was a sci-fi fan, would I appreciate mythical creatures coming in? Because it's like, well, that's not sci-fi. What sort of rubbish is this? This is like magic. But then again, when you look at, say, Star Trek, there's some weird things that happen that isn't science-based. You've got Q, for example, those that watch Star Trek The Next Generation, who is like, for want of a better purpose, a god. He can disappear and appear, and he can control things and manipulate things, just seemingly through magic. It's like beyond our comprehension. So you can get a bit of crossovers, but I don't know. I know I like all those creatures, and it's almost like he'd got a pack of the Story Spark cards, because there was some, more of the obscure mythical creatures that we've got in the Story Spark cards. However, I'm not sure. For me, if I'm either going to go, right, I'm all in sci-fi, give me that sci-fi goodness, or I'm going to go, I'm all in medieval or fantasy. Mixing the two like that, I don't know, it just wasn't enough for me. But that's just my opinion. Hopefully you enjoyed it. I mean, I still enjoyed bits of it. It's just that I don't think I know I didn't enjoy it as the previous three. So there we go. There is one more book in the series. They might have published another one, but it's A Goblin's Revenge, or The Goblin's Revenge. So I think it was good that we steer clear of that, because I was writing my book that's got goblins in it, and I didn't want that really to influence my writing my game book. But now that I've finished the game book, then I'll definitely buy that book. I don't know if it's by Simon Thudhorpe again, because this one is by Sarah Croft and W.J. Tattersdale. What is interesting, that Jonathan did look into who Simon Thudhorpe was, and Jonathan said, he was an editor at Osborne. And having looked here, I wanted to find out when these were published. And there's no actual date, which is really weird. It just says first... Oh, no. I clearly didn't read that properly. Oh, so this was first published in 2021. Okay. So this is the first one they did. But what I did notice says text, cover illustration and inside illustrations, copyright by Osborne Publishing 2021. So he's not getting royalties, maybe? I don't know, because it says text, cover illustration and inside illustrations are all owned by Osborne Publishing. So it looks like he was a hired gun, which is fair enough, but I kind of thought, I feel sorry for him, because, maybe he would get more money if he got royalties. But, that's an interesting dilemma if you're a creative. Right, what else we got? Oh, Lee Rin has put it. It's felt like the old John Carter, of Mars planetary romance genre that is ostensibly set in the far future alien world, but with a medieval alien world that is more Conan the Barbarian. Oh, okay. in space than Philip P. Dick. Yeah, I think I really like Philip K. Dick, and I have read lots of sci-fi, and I think for me, if you go in sci-fi, you go sci-fi. I'm not, unless it's sort of a dream and they're dreaming about mythical creatures or whatever. I don't know, but yeah, that's fair enough. James, thanks, buddy. Troy's proofread my Ken Jam story. I think he's enjoying it. Oh, that's good. I like that. Yeah, I'm a bit slow with that because I'm still working on my one here. Sorry, I missed your discussion of Portal of Chaos where you're saying you didn't enjoy the story or the game book structure. It doesn't mean he won't receive royalties. Oh, okay, so he could. Oh, I hope he is receiving royalties because, you know, I think these are selling well. And he's probably going to earn more money via royalties rather than just a buyout. Games Works are all... Oh, okay, own all my short stories and novels, but I still get royalties from their sales. Oh, I didn't know that was a thing. I thought it was either they buy everything out from you for a lump sum or you get royalties. You know, you might get a small advance and then royalties. But I didn't know there was a hybrid version going on. Oh, that's interesting. Well, that's probably good. Yeah. I guess because they started it all off, I guess it would be like me if, I don't know, I asked one of you guys to write an Edra Tales, game book, then I would still own that copyright, I guess, because it's my world. So if you wrote in my world, then I would own the copyright, but then I would give you royalties. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. I had to just work it out, yeah. Flash Gordon is science fantasy. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. You've got the winged... Yeah. Gordon's alive. You've got that. Yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah, science fantasy. My Doctor Who books were a flat fee with no royalties. Yeah, I can sort of understand that because they would sell loads. So, but hopefully, you know, you were happy with what you got paid. And also, it's good for your career. It is good for your career. Savage Realms does. So, like Savage Realms. Yes, just like Savage Realms do. Yeah, they own the copyright, but we get royalties. Yeah. Depends on the agreement you get with the writers to sign. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I guess it's all flexible, isn't it? Lee Rin has put, the Republic's serial, the father of the opening world-building text scroll Into the Stars, that George Lucas would copy. Yes, yeah, he was massively influenced by Flash Gordon, wasn't he? He actually inquired about the rights. Everyone knows this by now, don't they? He actually wanted to make Flash Gordon the film, and he inquired by the rights, but someone else owned the rights, so that's when he just did his own one. We get royalties. Are you writing for somebody? I can't possibly say yet. Nothing. That slipped out. I know. I hope nobody would pick up on that. Shh, don't say anything. Destaming. That's it. Change the subject. It's not quite happening. But anyway, what? Oh, yes. So I meant you get royalties, Jam. Anywho, let's move on quickly. How you doing, Gockles Nook? Yeah, what's the weather like? I don't know. Can't see out the grill up the top. It looks like it's sunny. We're in the dungeon. So, we are going to... what else are we talking about? Yeah, so the next one we're going to be doing is Masks of Mayhem. We're going to start part 1 this Wednesday. It's book number 23. It's by Robin Wakefield, I believe. Yes, I did remember that correctly. And illustrated by Russ Nicholson. Now, I've never read a Robin Wakefield game book. Apparently, he's a very good writer. However, I do know Russ Nicholson's work. It is fantastic. He's probably my favourite fighting fantasy illustrator. I just really love those illustrations. I think they're brilliant. They're so detailed. They're brilliant. Masks of Mayhem is fun. I think it is a Waterfield. So yeah, we'll be doing that. Jonathan, have you read this one? Have you played this one? I keep spoiling my... I'm looking at all the illustrations. Keep spoiling it. Yeah, so we're going to starting. That is Morgana, the fell sorceress of Krill Garflash, is poised to let loose her dreaded golems, which none will be able to resist, for she has equipped them with masks of mayhem, which gave them power over all things, just all things. That's everything. That's you, that's me, that's spaghetti, that's jam, that's honey, that's all things, fish and chips. Only you can end her evil designs, but beware, peril and treachery await you at every turn, and help is hard to find. It's very tough, many instant deaths. Yes, I think you mentioned that last time, so that'll be interesting. Well, we do a cheeky 3. Jonathan said, I own it, but I never played it through cover to cover. Okay, well, excellent. There you go. So, there we are. I'm not sure a lot of us have... I've certainly not read it. I don't think a lot of us that watch these have read it, which would be nice. So we're doing a fighting fantasy that people won't necessarily know. So, yeah, 7 p.m. UK time. This Wednesday is what we're doing. I've started, by the way, I've started another Edward Marston novel. I've just finished the previous one. Blood on the Line is the next one. Oh, I do like these. I do like these. There's just something about them. They're very easy to read, aren't they? They're very holiday books, but they're good. And the last one got really brutal at the end. It got really dark, which I wasn't surprising. It's in the diary, Ken. Thank you very much, Spelsing. I appreciate that. So the other, talking of books, let's see if they still have copies of Camel Up in the board game section on the 7th floor. Well, Camel Up is popular enough to be sold out, but there's still a box or two of Catan. Well, Catan is Catan's sold more copies over the years. Obviously, it's got a head start. But Camel Up is, it's hugely popular. It's an Everdale... no, not an Everdale. It's an evergreen game where it just sells and sells and sells. Yes, talking of game books. No, talking of books and talking of games. I've just recently bought this book. Adam in Wales, Legacy, Design Lessons from History's Most Influential Tabletop Games by Adam Porter. And I've got a few of his other books, actually, where, he helps you with designing games. But he does it from quite a unique perspective. The first book he did was not normally about, not giving you advice about the games itself, but finding out what type of designer you are, which I think is quite important. Because you might really love playing heavy 4-hour games, but can you design them? Does your brain work like that? Equally, you might love playing really light games, but you can't design them because your brain's too heavy, So it's really good. It's really good. So this one has got, there's loads, it's thick. It's got loads of, it goes through board games and just discusses them and then gives you, what's good about them, what's bad about them, I guess. But yeah, it's got Era 1, Ancient and Medieval games, Era 2, Early Modern games, and he's put Early Modern games... the year 1500 to 1850. Well, so it should be the 1500, shouldn't it? 1500 to 1850. So bingo, apparently bingo was, and it's approximate, is 1530. Bingo was invented. Blackjack was 1600s. Dominoes, 1700. So, dawn of the mass market, 1850 to 1974. You've got things like Happy Families, Go Fish, Snap, Tiddlywinks, Solitaire, Battleship, Subbuteo. Subbuteo was 1920? What? Twister, you got Kaplunk, Mastermind, Connect 4. Then it's got Dawn of the Hobby Games, 1974 to 1990. Then, of course, what kicks all that off is Dungeons & Dragons in 1974. Then you got Top Trumps, Squad Leader. I never played Squad Leader. Electronic Battleship. Guess Who? Sherlock Holmes Consulting Detectives, 1981. Dark Tower, Triple Suit. Warhammer Fancy Battle. Talisman, 1983. Scotland Yard, Jenga, Pictionary, then, and there's other games in there. Hero Quest, 1989. Then it's got the Golden Age of Gaming, and he's put that to now. We're actually in the Golden Age, 1990 to 2025. Modern Art, never played that. But Magic the Gathering was 1993. Settlers of Catan, 95. Carcassonne, 2000. Dominion. So there's loads. Wingspan is the last game that he's put in there. So I'm looking forward to really enjoying that. But I'm going to dip in and out. I think this is a book where you just go, oh, I'm interested in reading about Talisman because I like Talisman. I'm interested in reading about, you know, Bingo. What was the concept behind that? Kaplunk. Who loves Kaplunk? So yeah, so I just thought I'd share that with you. But yeah, so if you do want to get this, Adam in Wales Legacy by Adam Porter. I got it from Amazon. It arrived very quickly, certainly if you're in the UK. So yes, so that was that. What else? My game book, just to let you know, To Kill a Thief. I have finished all of Claire's corrections. She proofread it. She's a professional reader. She found 4,309 mistakes. So you can imagine it took me about a week and a half to go through that, and I hadn't anticipated that. This is the longest manuscript I've ever written. It's 100,000 words, just over 100,000 words. So obviously, I don't know how long it takes to go through the corrections and do that. But it took about a week and a half, 2 weeks of just solid 8 hours just going through them. Jonathan feels my pain, especially with Dracula. Bloody hell, Jonathan. That's a chunky book. And then Sally very kindly has proofread half of the game book. So I've done 200 entries, the first 200 entries. I've printed it off. And this is all the entries jumbled up in the order that they're going to be in the final book. So now Sally's got that copy. She's got this copy, and she's now going to proofread the last 200 entries. And then once Sally's given me them back, I will make any more corrections that need making. But while she does that, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be starting today. I'm going to spend about an hour, 2 hours on it, because I do have a murder mystery later to act in. I'm going to be doing the play testing. I'm going to be going through all the play testing. And this is not really having a go at anyone, but I did specify, please email me the proofreading. And then people texted me it, and I'm like, I wanted it all in one place. I wanted a folder on my email account where I could just go, game book playtesting. It's all there. Because people were giving me stuff. Some people did email. Some people, DM'd me on Facebook, and I'm like, okay. So I'm gonna have to go through, and I'm like, I can't remember who did that. So I'm gonna have to go through WhatsApp or, Messenger, and my emails. But hey, that's just the way it goes. And go through the playtesting. So that's what I'm going to be doing today, and hopefully there's not a lot to change playtesting wise. It might be that certain challenges are too difficult because you've not earned enough points, before you get to the challenges. I don't know. It'll be just various things like, well, that spell doesn't work, because of this. The sleep encounters, I don't know, were too frustrating. I don't know. I don't know. That's the whole point of playtesting. So that is the next challenge, to get the playtesting corrected and sorted. I am still waiting for Julian of Babel 17 Twitch fame. And obviously, everyone knows Julian Hill. I don't know why I have to explain that. But if you are watching and you're new and you're watching this on my YouTube channel, check out the Twitch channel, Babel_17, because Julian does some fantastic live streaming, normally on a Thursday evening, and he does game books as well. So, what was I going to say? Yes, so he seems to be going through it very methodically. So I'm going to start making everybody else's playtesting corrections. And then hopefully by the time I've done that, by the time Sally's got back to me with the proofreading, Julian will have finished that playtesting, and hopefully by then I'll have made all the other playtesting corrections and Sally's corrections, and then I can get on and do Julian's corrections. Then once they're done, Then I need to typeset the book. This is huge. I have severely underestimated how much work this is. And I've only got myself to blame because I wrote 100,000 words. I made a mistake in that respect. It's not a mistake in terms of doing 100,000 words, but in terms of trying to get the game book out within 6 months, that was just proved too difficult for me. We believe you, says Spelsing. We believe you. No, but it's true. It's like, this is like my confession. Whereas if I'd written, say, 50,000 words, then yeah, it probably would be out there done already. Lee Rin has put here, I've lost the chat, asking Google AI hypotheticals and questions can yield useful facts, but just as often it ought to be called Google stupidity. The confounding algorithm actually had the gall to assume I'd be silly enough to believe Jaime Lannister did not kill children. Oh, really? See if they edited that. Throwing a child out of a window called attempted murder for a reason. Dear Google stupidity. I guess he survived though, so it is attempted murder. I might be wrong with that, but I think is correct actually, Lirin. Unless he killed children somewhere else, like in another story, like in his past, or yeah. But that, if someone survives, that's attempted murder, which is just as bad, isn't it? The boy did not die, but that was enough for Google to believe that he makes Jaime not a child killer. Yeah, but if he didn't kill any children, then he's not a child killer. Sorry, am I missing something here? He's an attempted child killer. You know, he's still a bad egg, isn't he? He's still not very nice. Yeah. But technically he's not. I kind of agree there with Google. Sorry, Lirin. Unless I'm missing something. Unless I'm missing the point. He is... but didn't he take place in a battle that did? This is a cheery topic. Yeah, I know. I know. I thought, well, it's interesting, isn't it? Because the power of AI is, you know, it's increasing a lot. I've never watched Game of Thrones. Oh, haven't you? Jonathan. It's really good. It's really good. They messed up the ending. So the last series, they kind of messed it up. They rushed it. But yeah, it's really good. Read it as well, although he's not finished that. But I've read the first, the 5 books. Really good. My brother, when I went to visit my brother over the summer, we played Guildlands. We played my game, Guildlands. And because there's scoring at the end, where there's, different ways that everyone scores, my brother said, oh, let's see if AI can work out the scores. So he fed them the rules, and it couldn't do it. It was too complex for them. It just couldn't do it. I never watched Game of Thrones. Don't have any intention now either, nor The Walking Dead. Yeah, I never watched The Walking Dead. Zombies don't massively do it for me. But I've heard good things about the show. Yes, I know what you mean with Game of Thrones, because it's kind of over. I think what happened was, because of that terrible last series, people went, oh, and people that really enjoyed it were turned off by it. So, they kind of fell out of love with it. So I guess, yeah, people don't go back to it. I don't know. Anyway, I suspect the Google algorithm is programmed by a fangirl who believes anything can be forgiven as long as he's handsome. Darn it, fangirls can be scary. Yes, it depends what else was written about Jaime, because in the context, I'm not seeing it in the context of where you read that. So you're right. If it was like, Jaime Lannister's not that bad because he didn't kill children, it's like, hang on, that's bizarre. Attempted murder is bad. He is a bad person, you know, or his actions are bad. But with Game of Thrones, it is nuanced. It does have nuanced characters. So, and it's like Breaking Bad. Did anyone see Breaking Bad? Where you've got the Stringer Bell. I think that's the character's name. Stringer Bell. Is it Stringer Bell? Anyway, one of the drug dealers who, you know, who's done bad things. He's a gangster, basically. You know, he's in a gang. Who does genuinely do bad things. You see I guess like The Sopranos. I never saw The Sopranos, but he then goes to see his father, or I don't know, his son, or a relative, you know, someone close to him in hospital, and he's all loving and caring. So again, you know, we are nuanced, and I think there is an argument for Jaime Lannister's character, because he does start to do kind of things in his story arc. Anyway, it's nuanced. Never seen Breaking Bad. Oh, Breaking Bad is good as well. All this superfluous to Twin Peaks. Now, I never saw Twin Peaks. I think, yeah, it's one of those things that I maybe should see, Twin Peaks. Breaking Bad's really good. Yeah, it is really good. I really enjoy Breaking Bad, and again, it's good characterization. I think good stories, as you all know, I'm not saying anything new. Things become really popular because of good stories. Sorry, good stories, but good characterization. Both Game of Thrones and Breaking Bad, presumably Twin Peaks as well, good characterization. I could not continue past the first season with Rome or Sopranos either. HBO really addicted to making its audience sympathise with monsters, isn't it? Well, again, that's one way of looking at it. Yeah, absolutely. But you can still... that's anti-hero, isn't it? That's the antagonist. That's you looking at something from their point of view. Now, obviously, I don't condone what happened in Breaking Bad to the main character, but it's a sort of explanation of how he got there. I don't want to spoil stuff for people that if they are going to watch it, but do you see what I mean? It's like, I guess it's like Star Wars with Anakin Skywalker. You don't, it's an explanation, it's not an excuse for them to do bad things. So if they've had a poor upbringing, or, you know, they've had a neglectful upbringing, or all of that, that's an explanation of how they got to where they got to. But that doesn't excuse their crimes, if you see what I mean. So if they're caught and they're found guilty of crimes, they still need to be punished, even if they've had a bad upbringing and whatever. That's how I see it. Note to Twin Peaks. What have you been doing with your life, Jonathan? Writing game books or something? Actually having a life rather than watching telly? I could not consider... Oh yeah, I've read that already. So that's what we're doing with the game book. The game book is, so I've still got work to do on it. However, it is getting done. That's my main focus. My other main focus is my son is coming over from Australia. He lives in Australia, and his wife's coming with him. So my son is called Kelton. His wife's called Abby. They're coming over, and Abby is bringing some of her family over as well. They've never been to the UK, never been to England. So that's going to be nice. I'm going to see them. I've not seen him or them for about a year now. So that's going to be lovely. And I'm going to spend time with them. So that's obviously a little priority as well. And this is what I mean by life does have to, you know, balance out. You still have to have a life. And also, I've got some other projects. I've got an update, actually, on my stage show, on the Game Book stage show. So, Devilish Dilemmas, Decisions You Won't Want to Make. This is a stage show, and it's an interactive stage show. It's a game book, you know, where we get audience members up from the audience, and they're going to choose. They're going to work. You know, they're the player basically, and people can call out names and things like that. You know, other things. They can help the adventure along the way. So it's a game book game show. And I applied recently for some funding in Hertfordshire, and I got the funding, which was amazing, which was great. I got some funding. I got £1,000 funding. However, the problem with that is that they only give you the money once you've spent the money. How does that work? Well, you have to use your own money to put it all on, and then you claim it back off the council. So in other words, that's expenses. That's not funding, because I haven't got the money in the first place to put the show on. That's why, you know, I went for the funding, because I thought, stupidly, obviously, that funding meant that they go, right, yeah, we've looked at your proposal. It's like a business plan. We looked at your proposal. Here's the money that we're giving you funding. We're kind of investing in what you've told us. And then at the end of it all, you then need to give us the receipts to prove that you paid publicity money. You know, you got posters printed, you paid the venue, you paid this, you paid that. And that's how it works. But no, not this one. Not this one. You have to pay everything up front and then claim it back. And it's like, but I haven't got the cash flow. That's the whole point. So I've had to turn it down. I still cry for Anakin, but his betrayal is inexcusable. Absolutely, that's what I'm saying. You can sympathise with people, like how they turn to the dark side, how it can happen, but it's still inexcusable. Yeah, absolutely. This is heavy for a Saturday. This is heavy for a Saturday. But this is kind of rambling. This is where we ramble off into other topics. So now I'm just ranting about the council. But fair enough, if that's how they want to do it, that's their system, that's their system. You know, that's what they want to do, fine. I just then couldn't participate in the festival that runs for September and October around Hertfordshire, or East Herts anyway. But what I have done is I've realised that at the moment this is a two-actor show, and Dave, who is the other actor, he lives in Norwich, and so it's really difficult to get together to kind of rehearse. It's really difficult to get together to put on just ad hoc shows. And because the show, we're not popular, nobody knows us, we're not making loads of money from it, so Dave, we can't get a wage from it. So to ask Dave, and he hasn't got a car, so he'd either have to hire a car or catch the train, which can be relatively expensive, to come over to Hertford to do a show isn't really fair. A show that he's not going to get paid for, and therefore, you know, even if we charged, you know, can we charge money, because nobody knows us? Is anyone going to pay for this? So it's tricky to have two actors. So what's come out of this is that I'm going to write a solo version of the show. I'm going to write a solo version of the show where I am the games master, you know, I'm the storyteller, if you like, and I will basically be, there's no setting, we're in a pub or anything like that, which is what we did with the two-hander, which was a clever device, because it was like, I'm the storyteller, we're in a pub, Melch is welcoming the, you know, and the setting is that I don't want to tell a story because I'm drunk, but Melch reminds us that, well, we've got to pay the landlord for staying at the pub, you know, and so I say, oh, well, all right then, but let's get one of the audience, you know, let's get one of these audience, you know, the tavern drinkers, get one of them up to tell a story, and that's like the setting, that's how the audience get involved. Whereas this is going to be more like, I guess, what Ian Livingstone does, where he's just saying, this is a game book, this is like a game show. And John Robinson as well with the Dark Room. You know, there's no setting. It's basically like you are playing one of those old adventure games. So I'm going to do it like that. You are playing a game book. You know, this is a game book game show. And so it will just be, greetings, you know, fellow adventurers. You decide how the story unfolds. Da-da-da. But then I'm going to get an assistant. So I will actually get an assistant that will in effect do what Dave was going to do. But I'm having to rewrite the assistant's thing because Dave was actually going to do some characters you know, and act and do a bit of characters. So I'm not necessarily... I might do that. See, this is it. I'm going to develop it now. So I'm going to get an assistant up. But then everything else should stay the same. So it can be done as a one-person show. So that's the next stage with the Gamebook game show. Then what I'm going to do is, to take the pressure off, I'm just going to book some venues, you know, some halls that cost like £20 an hour. So if I book a hall for £40 over the 2 hours, just so I've got time to get in and out and set up and everything, then I'm going to put on shows in Hertford and where I live, and just put them on, do lots of publicity, and then do them for free. But then have a pay what you like, say pay what you like. So obviously some people will pay £2, some people won't pay at all, some people might put a £5 in, generous people might put a £10 in, so it's just pay what you like. So hopefully I can recoup my £40. That would be what I'm after. Any more it would be a bonus, but I'm not putting any pressure on it. So then if I do a number of those over next year, by the time we get to September and October, I'll have already had experience doing it. Then I'll apply for the funding again. Then, I'll just keep doing it. But this time it's like, oh, good, I've got some funding back. I've got some expenses back. So that's a way of doing it. And then it's also a way of building up a small audience. And then if I can generate enough audience, then I might approach the local theatre. There's one in Hertford, there's one in Ware. And say, okay, I'd like to put it on your fringe stage, which is the smaller stage, which seats 60 people. I'm getting, 30, 40, 50 people, hopefully. The more shows I do, I need a bigger venue. And just do it like that. And just build it up from the grassroots. And then maybe the following year, then I start doing some of the conventions. But again, that's a whole different ballgame. I don't know what the criteria is. Like if you need to have a proven track record, probably you do. So that's kind of a way to do it. And the other thing about it is I can then start getting photographs of the events. I can maybe live stream, like I've noticed Jonathan Robertson live streams some of his events. So yeah, maybe live stream them so people get an idea of it. So that's the plan on the Devilish Dilemmas. But everything takes so long to come to fruition, doesn't it? Leland's put here, throw a few mimics, among the treasure chests that the prince will find. The greedy raiders who don't cast detect trap are in for a delicious surprise. Yeah, absolutely. There's all sorts of that. Well, I was thinking, weirdly enough, I hadn't seen the Dark Room, and I'd written into this show that people have prizes. They get a prize, like the adventurer would get a prize at the end of it, and it would be just rubbish prizes, a bit like blankety blank is where I kind of got the idea from. Remember that? Hey, blankety blank. And I thought we'd have a lucky dip, so you just sort of put your hand in a barrel or something and you pull out a naff prize, but sort of cool. And then when I watched the Dark Room, I was like, oh, John, he does that, and I'm like, yeah, but I'm still going to do it. So there you go. So there's that. And then, so my main projects are finishing To Kill a Thief. Then I'm going to write the short game book, which is about 100, maybe 200 entries, that for Jam and I's mega collaboration. Collaborate and listen. For the backers, and also, but people know this already, don't they? Yeah, I've announced this to Kickstarter, so I'll announce it publicly. So yes, Jonathan, Troy from Savage Realms Gamebooks has very kindly offered to publish my single game book, the short one, the one I've just talked about, and Jam's one as well, but separately. So they're going to come out as physical books under the Savage Realm sort of family, but not in their world. It's just these are just ones he's going to produce, and which is brilliant, which is very kind of him. And those that backed both our campaigns will get a free physical copy, because they get a free digital copy. But Jam and I talked about this and went, this was an exclusive. However, we thought, well, as compensation, they'll get a free copy of the book. So hopefully, I haven't had anybody complain about that, so that's good. Yes, Jonathan, yeah, it is cool. Yeah, it is really cool. It is really cool of Troy, so we're very happy with that. So I need to definitely get on and write it. Death-Type Dungeon Mimic. Mimics are great, aren't they? Was memorably original instead of yet another Venus flytrap mouth. The door melts and sucker punches you with a wooden fist. Exactly. There are so many. Death Trap Dungeon. We did Death Trap Dungeon, didn't we? Particularly mean mimics include the mimic staircase. Oh, that's harsh. The mimic piano. Yeah, of course, you sit down to play and then... And the infamous mimic restroom. Oh, I don't know that one. Are they all from Fighting Fantasy? See, don't give me spoilers, because I'm intrigued to know what the mimic restroom. Unless that was in one of Jam's. I remember the game book that we did for Jam. We spent a bit of time in the loo, in the bog. So there we go. And then other things that I'm working on. Kedrick and I have decided to do a light little game this time around. We just happened to be talking while we were going up a lift, or as the Americans call it, an elevator. And we said, that could be quite a good game, where, it's like a light little game, where you're trying to move hotel guests. You're in a hotel, you're trying to move them. They're from the lobby, they want to get to certain floors. And your elevator, your lift operators, and you get tipped. So when they leave the lift, you get a tip, and depending on what type of hotel guest they are, they will tip differently, and what their criteria are. And so you kind of, and you're moving these guests around this hotel. So we've got to the stage where we've got a prototype, and so I'm going to be playing that with Sally. It's a 2-player game at the moment, because to make it any more players is actually quite hard the way we want to do it. So we're doing it as a 2-player game at the moment. And this one's going to be called, hopefully, well anyway, we thought of the title Flawed. So there you go. And then we've still got the sequel as such to the Crooked Crown, which is the Wonky Wand. So that's play tested a lot. So that's basically in its pitch state. So we're waiting to pitch that. And then I'm working on another murder mystery game, but this time it's a quick, well, I say quick, it's an hour-long game. It's a party game, and it's for 4 to 8 players. And I've got 2 cases. They're one-shot cases, but it's a small box, so it's gonna, there are lots of games out there now that it's just like a one-shot deal, but they're normally £20 and under. So I've designed 2 cases of that to hopefully be a range of games, basically. So I've got a lot on my plate, but that's just the way that I do it. As Jonathan knows, he does the same sort of thing. And then always on the back of my mind, I'm just going to read this actually. Not from Fighting Fantasy, they are written and 3D printed. Oh, I see. A recent 5th edition monster manual by Taiwanese university students. Oh, I see. That's fantastic. For a recent 5th edition. That's brilliant. Yeah, you don't really want a mimic toilet. You don't want to be sitting down on that and then suddenly, especially if you're a bloke, that's going to be... Always on my mind is my worker placement game of A Christmas Carol. yeah. So I have written extensive notes of this worker placement game, and I'm just dying to develop it. I'm really wanting to develop it now. But this is just going to have to wait. It's going to have to wait against what I would normally do. This is learning the art of just not taking on too many projects, even though I've got too many projects. But I can't get involved with just starting that now because I've got other things I need to be doing. So that is really, you know, that's like, I don't know, that's like a diamond just sitting there and you're a thief going, steal me, but look at me, I'm all shiny. And I'm a thief going, yeah, but I've got other stuff to do, I've got other things to nick, but do you see what I mean? So, anywho, there we go. It's the hour has hit us again. One that will catch all of us will be mimic copies of the Knights of Doom game books. Adventure, here I come. Ah, my fingers. I don't know that one. Knights of Doom game books. Is that a thing? Knights of Doom game books. Is that a series of game books? Or are you saying that a book, yeah, a book, if you read a book and it becomes a mimic, or you're flicking through the pages and then, Knights of Doom was my first, oh, I see, it was one of Jonathan's. Knights of Doom was my second, oh, did you have a mimic in that one? You wrote Knights of Doom, didn't you, John? There we go. There we go. Oh, fantastic. Well, maybe we need to do Knights of Doom. We do need to do more Jonathan Green game books. I don't think we've done any Jonathan Green game books in terms of fighting fantasy. We've done quite a few of your Ace game books. What have we done? We've done Beowulf. We've done Dracula. We did Alice in Wonderland. We did... Oh, no, we did do one. I'm sure we did do one, didn't we? We've done... Oh, we did The Nightmare Before Christmas. That's 4. I'm just looking up on my gamebook section. I'm sure we did another one. Yes, there we go. Secrets of Salamanus. Yes, we did do that one. Yes, that was very good. That was with the airship, wasn't it? Is that right? Am I remembering that correctly? Yeah. Anywho, we best wrap this bad boy up. No. And on that bombshell, what's the one with the airships? Oh yes, the galley keep does make bits. There we go. There you go. Yes. I remember that. It was kind of near the end. I think it was near the end. I remember. Yeah, there you go, Jonathan. Give me that. Give me that with your no. Anywho, yes, we best wrap this up. It's been lovely chatting with you again, seeing how everybody is. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching. The Eye of Storm is a flying vessel in Stormslayer. That's the one. Stormslayer. We crash every ship, sea or air that we pilot. I know. It is. That is our curse. That's why I was a bit nervous, because we had an ending. Should I spoil the ending? But anyway, where we had an opportunity to get onto a vehicle. So yes, thank you very much, Spelsing. Thank you, and you, Spelsing. Take care. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you, Lirin. Thank you, Jonathan. Thank you, Jam. Thank you. Did anyone else comment? I don't think anybody else did. Thank you if you were watching but you didn't comment. That's more than welcome. Thank you for watching. And if you're watching this on playback, on, not live, thank you for watching it as well. As I say, all these live streams do go over to the Edra Tales YouTube channel, so check that out. And if you want to follow the channel, give things a like, it all helps with the algorithms and all that rubbish. But that's not ultimately why I do this. I do this because it really it helps me get my projects, clear in my mind. Hopefully when you discuss your projects, it helps you get things clear in my mind. It helps get things clear in my mind about your projects. No, you know what I'm trying to say. Yeah, and it's just nice to hang out together, isn't it, as well? So there we are. Oh, Lee Rin. Did I say good night, Lee Rin? Yes, I did. Good night, Lee Rin. Good night, everybody. And remember, may your thieving never be caught. See you Wednesday, where we'll be doing Masks of Mayhem, 7 PM UK time. Bye.